Nottingham Forest are in the mud. Howdy people, welcome to another video on the channel. Today I am going to be in deep down crying about how terrible my football team are. Yes, welcome to another video on the channel. It's Sunday the 16th of October, which therefore means the Wolves calamity was yesterday. And you know, I've had it up to here, above my 6 foot tallness. I'm finitoed. What is... I can't get over the fact. I'm going to get into this. I'm going to be waffling about a few things. I want to get a few things off my chest. If you're rather fun, you're going to absolutely love this. But before we get into the video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into this video. So I'm going to start off with looking about why we've been so bad. Why? What is causing this insanity? Let's call it that, insanity. And just why we've been so bad. So I've got 10 screenshots for across most of the games this season. I did originally have 21, but then I wanted this video to be a respectable length. So yeah, I've narrowed it down to 10. But yeah, I'm just going to show you, like, you know, how bad defensively we are. Okay, so it will be going in chronological order. So we're going to start with Newcastle and slowly but surely go through. So here we have Mr. Joe Willock in possession, about, I'd say, 25 to 30 yards away from our goal. And as you can see, the nearest Forest player is a good 5 yards away. It's one of Sam Surridge or Jack Colback. Yeah, so I just want you to cast your eyes to the right side of the box. There is 4 Forest players marking Joe Linton and Callum Wilson. Why? Why have we got 4 players marking 2 Newcastle players? Well, you got, I believe it's St. Maximum on the left hand side, outside the box. One of those 4 Forest players could be marking St. Maximum, and then another one of those players could maybe press Joe Linton. Not Joe Linton, Joe Willock, sorry. I mean, there's one player, I'm not sure who it is. It's just chilling in the middle of the box, not marking anyone, not really doing much. He really should be pressing 10-15 yards further up to rush him into something, but he's just chilling, he's just vibing. I think this does end up in a shot, and I think it's saved by Dean Henderson, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's one thing I just want to prove. I just want to show. Secondly, I believe this is their second goal they scored. We have Bruno in possession, who absolutely ripped us to pieces in that game. We have Bruno in possession, we have Mangala, we have Jack Colback right in front of him, you know. There's about 3 yard gap between where he could play and Callum Wilson. But then, this is my point on how narrow our defence is. So we've got Nico Williams inside our box, number 7. Then we have Joe Linton and St. Maxim on the left, completely unmarked. Nowhere near, Nico Williams is nowhere near them. It's not just Nico Williams' fault, because Nico Williams' responsibility is to mark St. Maxim, not Joe Linton. Joe Linton should probably be marked by... probably be marked by one of the midfielders, assuming he is a midfielder. So what happens is, obviously Bruno's, he's got sights of the Newcastle player on the far right, who is making a good run. He's obviously would have seen Callum Wilson, he can make a pass through. But what he does, he turns, he sees the 2 unmarked fellas, and it's like, okay, there you go. Plays it, St. Maximin, I want to say, who crosses it, and Callum Wilson finishes it well. And just what is this? My point here is the narrowness. I feel like maybe I think the 3 centre half should be in front of Callum Wilson, not behind them. Maybe Joe Worrell could be a few steps wider, with also Nico Williams being a lot wider. I think it's not just Williams, but there's a couple of times where he's just so narrow. It is killing me just how narrow he is all the time, which is why I think Serge Aurier deserves more opportunities than what he's got. He's only played the 1 game. But yeah, Williams needs to be a lot wider. Then St. Maximin hasn't got as much time to look up, see who to pass to, and then do Williams and then play it to him. That's what he does. But yeah, so for me, it just was so narrow, and I don't know why. If that stems from the manager, I don't know. If the manager tells him to play narrow, he should quite clearly see that We're getting ripped to pieces here. Now, moving on to the absolute calamity, abysmal second half performance against Bournemouth. Now, the reason why we are so deep is because we've just cleared a chance. McKenna's cleared a chance. It's gone to Lingard. Now, when that ball was played, Jesse Lingard was facing... So, the ball was coming in towards him in this direction. Lingard's got the option to chest it to the left, chest it to the right. He couldn't control it down the centre. If he controls it down the centre, he would have got dispossessed. He does end up getting dispossessed, and Philip Billing scores a very good goal to get Bournemouth back in the game to make it 2-1. Now, for me, Lingard has to chest this to the right. I could be nitpicking massively here, but he needs to chest it to the right and clear it. Because if he chests it to the left, which he does, he's then got 3 Bournemouth players pressing him, whereas if he chests it to the right, he's got 2. And then he gives it away, and basically that 5 seconds of footage there that sums up Jesse Lingard's Forest career. Bang average, bang average. But yeah, for me, he's got to chest it to the right, I think, because then he's going to be pressed by fewer Bournemouth players and he can just clear his lines. Next up, we have a set play. The Fulham defender runs pretty much through the entire box and heads it in. So we have a man on the front post, which I want to say is Nico Williams. Then we have 2 players marking 1 player. Okay. So the man here, where my mouse is, I can't quite tell because I can't see the number. He's marking someone, that's fine. But then we've got 2 players here. I want to say one's Kuyate. 2 players marking this player here. I don't think that's necessary. Freuler marking Reed on the back post. Cook marking, honestly, that's Tim Ream. McKenna marking someone who's lying down. Yates he's noticed the run, to be fair, but he's noticed it too late and he can't get that, and it's a goal. So for me, especially our defending of corners, I think it's been a bit suspect at times. Maybe that's me nitpicking a bit, but I just feel like one of Yates or one of these 2 lads, I think especially one of these 2 lads, has to be a few yards further back. For me anyway, because there's so much, there's a good 5 yards of space for him to just stand there. He makes him from the edge of the box, running in, bang, header, goal. They're level, I think, this their equaliser. Now, this one infuriates me. I was talking about the narrowness here. It's not necessarily the narrowness, it's just our defensive incompetence. So, you can see the best part of our back four. So we've got Freuler tracking back here with next to Reed. Now, I think you can blame either one of... I'm going to say this is Freuler. Apologies if it's wrong. You could blame either one of Freuler, McKenna, or Loddy. For me, I blame Loddy slightly more. Because Freuler's backtracking. He's in his position that is a midfield. He's tracking back on the counter-attacks. We have Ryan Yates covering the wing. Nico Williams is nowhere to be seen. He may well have taken... I'm pretty sure they counter-attacked from a corner, so he could have been taking the corner in fairness. But it's Ryan Yates covering the wing, that's fine. That's your midfielder's job for me when your fullbacks are further up the pitch. Steve Cook, again, in a position to block if Yates doesn't. McKenna in the centre, in his position. And Loddy is significantly narrower. You could make the argument that Willian is his man, but he's significantly wider than what he has to be. And what happens is Willian makes a very smart run, darting pretty much to the corner of the 6-yard box, not looking for the ball, just to put those 2 players out of position. McKenna and Loddy follow him, and then also Freuler doesn't really do much, and then and when the ball's been played, Loddy goes, "Oh, shite, I've lost my man." So he runs back. And then he tries to slide in, but Harrison Reed has a tap in. This one really, really infuriating. This is why I think Toffolo should start, because Toffolo's a lot more defensively sound than Loddy. Now, this one's a bit blurry, so apologies, but this is against Leicester. This is their first goal. Harvey Barnes is just allowed to cut inside. Again, fault of our narrowness. Plays it to Maddison. Maddison scores it. Comes off McKenna's chest, I think. 1-0. Can we just look at this fantastic formation here? The 3 players that are just standing in a diagonal line. I believe it's Kuyate, O'Brien and Williams. Again, why is Williams so narrow? I don't know. I also want to point out Mr. Loddy there. He's basically acting as a second goalkeeper. So yeah, Lodi, for me, Castagna is completely open. Harvey Barnes could probably play across there, and Castagna could get on the end of it. But yeah, I don't know why Lodi is not in front there. I think McKenna and Cook could be maybe a bit tight to them men there. And one of Kouyaté or O'Brien, I'm going to say Kouyaté because he's slightly closer, should be a good 3 or 4 steps closer to James Maddison. Because if the ball goes to James Maddison, you can at least put a tackle in, get a block. Doesn't do that. Again, in that game especially, the midfield and the defence were in different time zones. They're in different galaxies. And yeah, it was despicable how we played against Leicester, and we deserved what we got. Again, this is another move here. I believe this led to their second goal. Maddison just pings the ball over to Jamie Vardy in the left. I just want to mainly pointing out the midfield. So the back four is in some form of shape. I believe that's Williams, I want to say. Williams, Lodi, McKenna, Cook. They're in an alright shape. Very narrow, yes, but in an alright shape. And then we have 2 midfielders here. I want to say one of them, I want to say he's Morgan Gibbs-White. And I want to say that's Freuler. But where's the rest of the midfield? There's no shape, and that's just pathetic. So here's their 4th goal, and for me, this is probably being a bit pedantic. I just feel like McKenna's got to be another step, half a step in front of Daka to block the cross, at least put it off course from going to Daka. Very well taken finish, and yeah, calamity. Here we have Ashley Young's goal, the equaliser against us. So why do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Forest players inside our penalty area and 1 that is just outside the penalty area? Brian Johnson's the only one closing him down. I don't know why. I think one of them should be. I want to say that's Ryan Yates. I think Yates should be. He's looking to get a bit closer, but he should be closer anyway. I don't know why so many players are. I don't know why so many players are inside the box. I think there was a debate about whether it was a foul in the box for us or not. I've not really looked into that. I'm just looking at how terrible defensively we are. And then Ashley Young, very good finish. Yeah, again, story of our season. We just can't keep goals out from outside. Yesterday, well, on 2 days ago when you're seeing this, Traore for about the 87th time is in acres of space. There's 3 times he got past Toffolo. Another once he cut inside. I think Toffolo did an alright job of containing him, but Traore was given so much space, and he's got a very good crossing opportunity to Diego Costa, who I think is just offside. I think this is where they hit the post, but again, absolutely woeful defensively. And there was another screenshot I was going to have where their left back was their right back, sorry, I think. It was one of their full backs even, I think it was their left back, which was completely unmarked. He's got a free header, which Dean Henderson does make a save, I think. But yeah, those are all of the clips. Right, so here, as you can see, is all of the goals we've conceded from outside the box. Well, all the goals we've conceded this season. This obviously, all the goals we've conceded, it doesn't include Neves' penalty, because this was posted, I believe it's from Sky Sports, so credit to Sky Sports for this graphic. So as you can see, 10 goals conceded from outside of the box. I mean, you can't blame Henderson for any of them, because I think all of them in their own right are rockets. But I think this is where you have to question the defence, mainly the midfield, really, because if the defence is told to sit deep, then fine. But the midfield has to be further. Like, even if we're told to sit deep, I feel like the midfield should be outside of the box. Yeah, so I just want to point out how terrible that is. And I think on average, every 18 shots, you normally concede 1 goal from outside the box. I think it's taking opposition to 2 shots from outside the box to score against us. I'm pretty sure. I can't quite remember that stat, so don't quote me on it. But that is something that's got to change, and that's got to be coming from the midfield. And I think it has to stem from the manager in a sense, because I told him to sit this deep, he'd be aware. I think we did a little bit better against Wolves in terms of not conceding too many long-range shots. But I mean, we've got Arsenal soon. Arsenal against Spurs. They Arteta had a masterclass in taking long-range shots. You know, he can just do that against Forest and we won't be able to handle it. But yeah, that's something else I want to I wanted to speak about. So I just want to quickly run you through our signings and whether I think they were necessary or not. So let's look. I'm going to include all senior players because I think we signed 2 or 3 like youth players, one lad, one youth player. So I just bear that in mind. So Morgan Gibbs-White, I think he's a solid, very good signing. So I've not got anything bad to say. I think it's been very good for us. Emmanuel Dennis and Taiwo Awoniyi. I think we needed a striker. I think we wanted Keenan Davis back. Now, I think if we got Davis, I think we only probably signed Awoniyi. I don't think we signed Dennis. Now, I love Taiwo. I think he's made a good impression on me. I just think he's lacking the clinical edge. I mean, he scored a lot of goals. Maybe it's just a case of bedding in. I've not necessarily got a problem with him. Dennis, for me, when he played against Villa, he scored, but he looked too desperate to impress. I mean, Taiwo and Dennis are not the 2 worst players we've signed. We've had some stinkers here, but I've not got really a problem with either of those 2. Dennis cost 12.5 up front. Taiwo cost 17.5. I've not really got a problem with either of those. I obviously wanted us to get Keenan Davis, but I think if we got Davis, then I think we only signed Taiwo. I don't think we signed Dennis. Nico Williams, now I'm very divided. I think if you asked me a few weeks ago, I'd say it's a good signing. I still stand by he's a good signing. It's just he defends so narrowly. I think with Jed Spence, he really wanted to take on his man, whereas Williams doesn't want to do it. He looks to try and pass it and then try and get an overlapping pass, which, yeah, he just doesn't seem as confident to attack. And one of Nico Williams' supposed strengths is defence, but he's so narrow all the time. Well, a player can get a ball, take a touch and cross it before he's got anywhere near them. So if he could just sort that part of his game out, maybe just a bit more confidence in himself, then I think he's a quality player. So right now it's not a terrible sign, but it's not a brilliant signing. RL Mangala, I mean, he's missed a good chunk of the season so far because of injury, but whenever he's come on as a sub, he wants the ball, he's looking to find the ball. Absolutely brilliant sign, but he's been out injured, so can't judge him too much, but he's been brilliant. Freuler, I'm still a little bit 50-50 on Freuler, not seen enough of him just yet, but he looks decent. I think against Villa he gave away 1 or 2 silly fouls, but he did look improved against Watford. I think if we play with a midfield 3, I can see him getting a good amount of game time. Niakate only played 2 games. He's still been absolutely brilliant for us. Probably our best signing, I would say. Omar Richards, yet to see because of an injury. I think he's decent. I think he's one of those players, worst case scenario, that we do go down, he's someone that can play in the Championship. O'Brien and Toffolo, I'm going to talk about them as a collective. I think they've been good. Toffolo looked a bit shaky against Newcastle, but O'Brien's been quality. I think they've both been good additions. Serge Aurier, only really seen the one or less than 90 minutes of football with Serge Aurier. He looks very impressive. I think he should really be starting. Dean Henderson's been very good. I think it's just his distribution is dodgy for me. His goal kicks are not very good. I just think that's what he can improve. His overall shot stopping is very good. Commanding his area is very good, but his distribution is awful. So now I'm gonna probably that's the main chunk of the signings which I'm happy with. I think Biancone as well, and Bade, and yet to see either of them, but I think Biancone, in the game against Grimsby, granted it's Grimsby, he looked decent. Bade, also another player I'm yet to see. Now, I'm going to list a few players where I haven't got a Scooby why we bothered signing them. Lodi, Lingard, Kouyaté, Josh Bowler, Hwang Yu-jo, apologies if I said that wrong. That's 5 players there. That's a good half, 40 odd percent, 45% for starting 11. Why did we sign them? Why? I say Hennessy's another player I haven't said. He's a decent keeper and that. I think if say we had Starbreeze Samba, I don't think we would sign it. It's purely because Dean Henderson's on loan and not really got a problem with him. It's just what happened with Samba really. So you've got 5 players that I've just listed. Why did we sign them? Lodi, we've already got 2 left backs. You can understand maybe Omar Richards got injured, but I just don't see the point in him being here. He just doesn't look defensively sound. He looks like a decent winger, but not a fullback or anything like that. Lingard, he's just come, as much as, the West Ham fans all love this, he's just come to collect a wage and bye-bye. Would not extend his contract, even if we do somehow do the unthinkable and stay up. Kouyaté just doesn't really look bothered. He just doesn't really look too interested. He's just been the definition of average. Vola and Hwang Yu-jo, who just letting them shout to Olympiacos, don't see the point. I think Bola will be a good addition, say we do get relegated, so good championship player. But for me, Hwang Yu-jo, I can see him just signing for Olympiacos straight after. But yeah, that's another problem that I think we've had. We've signed 5 or 6 players that we didn't need to sign, and we didn't get any of the loans back. Jed Spence, I know he wanted his big money move, which hasn't necessarily worked out, but Jono doesn't look as good without him. James Garner, admittedly United messed us about significantly. They said they wanted to keep him, then decided after we signed like 3 midfielders, oh no, we're going to let him go to Everton. So I think if he was available from the start, we would have got James Garner. Zinchenko, he was available for like less than £5 million. Why did we not sign him? Davis, I think we could have easily signed. If Watford could get him, I'm fairly confident Forest could have. Four loans, I think, 4 out of 5 loans we had last season were definitely players we should have got, and we just didn't. I don't know why that is. I think you can understand in some cases why it didn't go through, but it's just there's no group, there's no togetherness, there's no bond, if you get what I'm saying, because there's about 4 players that were with us last season in the first team, playing consistently, and half of that's gone now. They've either moved on, loans have expired, contracts have expired. There's no group, there's no cohesion, which is what we're missing. They don't understand each other. Maybe going back to that Loddy mistake against Fulham, maybe if McKenna, if Loddy and McKenna knew each other better, then that goal might not have happened, because McKenna might have gone and Loddy might have stayed. You just don't know. But yeah, for me, we are that's one problem we've got. Right, yeah, I have gone on for quite a while, so yeah, I'm gonna wrap the video up there. A little bit more negative than I normally like my videos to be, but I feel like a lot needed to be said, and yeah, I think I've got it all off my chest. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you want more analysis videos like this where I showcase my ball knowledge, then yeah, let me know in the comment section down below. But thank you for watching. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Please do it, because my football team are 20th in the table. Please. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you want more stuff from me, socials are linked in the description. LJPYT_ on Twitter and Instagram. And I'll see you all in the next video. Up the forest, stay safe, and goodbye.